Hey everyone!
Hello.
Welcome to our stream,
Hey,
to our very first Campfire Conversation stream. I'm very happy that we made it. So just a short introduction on who we are and what's going on here. So we are Jens and Ines, and then we have Sharunas and Mingaile as our guests today. And Jens and me are from a German indie game developer called Off the Beaten Track. And we recently thought about a few new streaming formats, and one of them is the monthly Campfire Conversations, where we invite devs from another team so we can talk about their games, try them out together, and have a chat about game development, about our specific genres, and just about what's going on in our studios. So Jens is our founder at Off the Beaten Track. I'm Ines.
Hello.
I'm here for marketing communications. And then we have Sharunas and Mingaile with us today. And I'd love a short introduction who you are and what your role is at your studio.
Well, I can start. So I'm a co-founder of our company called Tag of Joy, which is a company that makes games, obviously. And we've been making games in this company for around 10 years now. And one of the biggest and most recent projects that we released is a game called Crowns and Pawns, Kingdom of Deceit.
yeah, we just got released a bit over a month now on May 6th. And my name is Magila, as you mentioned, and I'm the communications manager, and I was also the assistant writer on the game. So I actually had some input on the game itself, so that was really exciting. And so Crowns and Pawns is a charming European mystery adventure. It's actually a point and click at its core. We were really inspired by a lot of other point and click games like Broken Sword, Siberia, Still Life. From what the player tells us, you can really feel the vibes of those games there. So it's a mix of that. And in the game, you follow a girl named Milda, who is a native Lithuanian, by birth, but she lives in Chicago. And you start the game in Chicago, and then you suddenly get a letter from your grandfather. The letter informs you that your grandfather has passed away, and you inherited his house in Lithuania. So Milda sets off to Lithuania to get the house, and then suddenly finds some clues about some mysteries about the lost relic, and that's how your adventure begins. So that would be probably the main information about us and the game. And we're really excited to show you the game.
That was like you and your company in 2 minutes.
The super pitch.
Like the
It's an
elevator
pitch for both, yeah.
First of all, I didn't know that you were active for over 10 years. That's amazing. You're a pretty small team, right? How many members are on your team?
Right now we have probably 8 people on the team, which are very varied from writers, obviously, because we make narrative games, to programmers, to artists, to what else do we have? Technical arts, communications, and you name it. But of course, a lot of people in the team try to share the work. Like if you can do something, you're not like you didn't study that in university maybe, but you can do that. You're very welcome to do it, because if you can help someone out in another field, that's very welcome.
Yeah, and that's probably the point of of small teams, is that you all can contribute to more than one thing. So we really, I think our all our team members are pretty varied in their skills. So we're really excited to have such a team and that's why we can build games, with a small team. I think when you can do a lot of things together.
It's super interesting to know that it's the case at your studio as well, because I think at our studio it's also like, Jens, you do pretty much, you got your hands in everything that's going on at Off the Beaten Track.
You mentioned being a co-writer and having a lot of writers on your team for a narrative game. Like, is everybody kind of contributing to the story, or how did the story come to be for your team? Like, where did it originate?
Well, we actually have like one main writer for like the dialogues and everything, but the story itself was you can actually tell the beginning of the story better because you were there.
So 100 years ago.
No, okay.
So yeah, when we started, we had a few game ideas, but kind of wanted to do something similar to Broken Sword or the Da Vinci Code, where you have some historical background, but also real places, but also fictional, mysterious things happening. So we found this Lithuanian author. She studies history and she writes books about it, about some Lithuanian figures and relics and places and stuff like that. So she gave us this kind of a list of facts and people from history and interesting things that were happening in the past or could be speculated. Like it wouldn't be a big lie if you said that. So that takes quite a lot of research at first. And then we use that kind of set of information to go forward. And then our main writer, Ignas, he took over. And over the years, he did a lot of additional research. And we changed some of the kind of the facts because some of them didn't really fit in the narrative, or we wanted to switch places around and stuff like that. So our lead writer did most of the work. Then Mingaila helped out, probably mostly writing the logics of the script, like dialogues and everything, because we use Ink for writing, which
Nice.
is kind of a scripting slash programming language for writing narrative
Writers.
games.
Like
Yeah.
it's programming for writers.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
so easy. It's
So
so easy.
you we kind of chose between making connections visually and just writing code, and our writers decided that they want to write some code. So
Nice.
so yeah, so Mingaila helped out there, and then the other members, like we contributed with our opinions when some I know
Some facts were like, it was different to connect some facts because it's
co-
still Or-
there was some controversy
Yeah.
at points, maybe historically, or just we didn't agree that it could have happened. Like if we make something fictional, and we discuss whether that's not real but realistic,
Yeah, realistic.
if it's convincing at all. So other members pitched in that way, and also when designing puzzles, again the lead writer did most of the work, but we pitched in quite a lot into some especially more complex puzzles. So yeah, basically we had one lead writer who did most of the work, but the others contributed here and there.
I think that's
Yeah.
one of the joys of a small team as well, that everyone can give their opinion. I think in bigger productions it might be hard if you're at a totally other place in the game development to pitch in on the story, or like if you're a writer to pitch in on the art and stuff. And I mean, for our game development, that's the case as well. Like Jens does a lot of the writing, but then all of the team gives feedback on whether there's something he might have missed that we think is lacking, but also what works really good and what we think should be pushed more and stuff like that. So good to have a small team, but
And that-
also I think it's really great that you managed to maintain a small team and a small studio for such a long time. That's like the goal for an indie developer to survive. It's really good, yeah.
I love that you mentioned Broken Sword, because I love Broken Sword so much, especially the first two versions of it. Would you say that those, you already said that those were your main influences. Do you have some other reasons for going into the genre of adventure games specifically? Is it just your passion and where you really want to be? Or did you have just these inspirations? Why did you create a game like this?
Do you want?
Well, if you have.
I
Oh, you're very quiet right
We
now.
think. Oh, sorry.
Oh, now it's better, I
Is this
think.
better?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, okay. Yeah, so I think one of the things is that we felt like we were pretty strong on the narrative side of creating, and we like we mentioned, we have a pretty strong writer, and we also think that Lithuanian history is pretty strong. Like we got those facts, you know. So that's one of the reasons to go into a narrative and an adventure game if you believe that you can deliver. So that was another one of the reasons, besides, of course, loving the genre. Um, I don't know what else could be, but
Actually, when we started working on this game, we didn't have much narrative game experience before in the team, and we hadn't worked with our writer before that, but we knew him for like 10 years before that or so. So we really wanted to do something together because he was a really big fan of point and click adventures and narrative games in general. And he did have some background in writing and directing and stuff like that. So we just said, "Do you want to write this game?" And he said, "Why not?" And then I would say that one of the reasons to choose specifically this subgenre, similar to Broken Sword with the historical facts and stuff like that, was that I actually worked on a fan-made Broken Sword 2.5 a long time ago.
Me too. I did one really small part for it. Really small, but I worked on it
Okay.
as well.
What did you do there?
There's one animation where a dog walks forward like 1 meter. And back then it was like, I don't know, 15 years ago or something like that. And I was doing 3D animations just while I was at school. So I created this one animation where the dog walks forward for 1 meter.
Okay, interesting. Well, there was quite a lot of people coming in and out of that project, maybe 20 to 30 people altogether. But yeah, I actually was one of the core members. I joined a bit later, but I became the art director in that project pretty quickly because one of the people left. And yeah, so I actually participated quite a lot there, which meant that I learned a lot from the original games, both from the visuals, from the narrative, from the uh, team management side, like what people you need and how much of every person's time and so on. So it was really useful, and we said that like just let's make a game as similar to that as possible first, and then we can go on to like I don't know comedic adventures like Monkey Island or so.
Awesome.
You managed that. You mentioned that one of the inspirations for the game was the Da Vinci Code, and I already started playing the game, and I can feel that very much. It really because well, there are churches, and there's this mystery, and you finding different keys and stuff, and I think we should just take a look into the game. So just as preparation, I already started playing the game a bit, played through like the tutorial at the beginning of the game up to a point where it opens up a bit, and this is where we want to jump in today, and hope that I won't make a fool out of myself while playing. But I have you here to help me.
So if I'm correct, you will be jumping straight to Vilnius.
Okay. We're at the point where we are trying to investigate different churches across Vilnius, right?
Yes.
So,
You can go to the locations then, I guess, since you unlock them, so you can just visit.
Wait, where? Ah, yeah. I gotta go outside.
Yeah.
And then I can take my rental car.
Yep.
And now we can see all these locations all over Vilnius. And before I was at Grandpa's house, which is completely thrashed, and the Vilnius University. And now new is St. Catherine's Church and the Church of the Holy Spirit. So, do you have any preference which one to go to first?
No.
Okay.
Which one sounds more intriguing?
To me, St. Catherine.
Really? To me, it's the Church of the Holy Spirit. But you go to Catherine's.
I just like female names.
Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah, and also what I really like, for convenience, is the good old press space function that shows you everything on screen that you can actually interact with. I think that's always super helpful because you can first investigate the screen yourself and then see, okay, did I really find everything, or is there something that I missed? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, no one likes pixel hunting, as they say.
Yeah.
So it's really annoying when you need to click something. Even though we did try to avoid any small hotspots in general, but still, you could still miss something. So that's really useful.
Yeah, we tried to have the.
You go ahead.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to say that we didn't want the user experience to be kind of blocked or stopped by semi-technical reasons. So this is one of those where if you don't notice a hotspot, that's not a problem that you don't know a solution or you don't know what to do next. It's just like a semi-technical issue that you just didn't notice it there. So yeah, that's one of the things that we didn't want the players to experience.
I also imagine it to be pretty hard to get it just right, to make something not too small but also not too big that it's super duper obvious.
Yeah, definitely. And not take up too much screen space, and especially since we're working on controller support, and maybe sometime in the future we might need touch, so we slightly started thinking about it even now, because changing everything for touch would be very difficult. So so that's why we need to make sure that no hotspots interchange too much, that they don't take up like half the space. So
And it's quite challenging when you have a desk and a lot of things on the desk.
Oh yeah.
And it's all concentrated in one place, but the hotspots have to be big enough and so on. But yeah, you just try to spread them out as much as possible.
Okay, I just started talking to the homeless man. I think I gotta turn the sound up a bit in a second. I come from the US.
We might need to adjust our stream overlay because the hand from the person is blocking the dialogue options.
Like, don't look at the second option.
That's true. I didn't think about that. That adventure games would be that the hand would be
Yeah.
the hand's just showing you which option to pick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'll always take that one. Can you help me out? Which one is it? It's nope, I guess. Oh, yeah, that's so mean. You're just gonna. The last one says you're just gonna spend it on booze. I'm gonna say I don't have any cash on me. I think that's true also.
You could get some from Dana.
Yeah, do you remember that part?
Oh yeah,
Everybody likes
yeah.
that part.
Can you give me more coins and maybe some more? It's in the beginning of the game where you need to lend some cash from a friend. Do you know how to get into the church? Okay, take care. I guess I don't need his help yet. Why did I even talk to him? Okay, I'll turn the sound up a little bit.
You can always turn up the voice acting, and turn down something else if it's too loud.
That's right. I'll turn the music down a bit, I guess. So the voiceover is a bit louder in comparison. I think that's good. Okay, let's take a look at this trash can. I mean, you never know. First thing as a tourist in a new city.
Yeah, I don't think I can find anything useful there.
Okay. Nothing useful
What profession are you?
I'm the programmer.
Because there's one of the interesting features in the game, and that at the start of the game you can choose your looks. First of all, we have character customization. By the way, nice look you got there, and a nice tattoo. I saw you got a tattoo as well.
I gotta go to the front because I love the choice of tattoos. There was also a feather option, I think, but I didn't look at it.
Yeah, there's a few. There's like 4 designs, I think, and there's also the profession. And based on profession, there are some puzzles different, some dialogues are different. So, if you try the game once, you can always play again and try a different profession.
Nice.
I want to visit the church.
No, I clean here.
No, I clean here. And you're doing a great job. I'll just take a quick peek inside.
Great job. I'll just take a quick peek inside.
No,
But
go. I clean you too.
I clean you too? She's great.
Sweep, sweep, sweep.
Okay.
Swept out like some trash by a hag with a broom. Adventurous.
Okay, I'll take the side entrance.
Like a true adventure, trying every possible way, you know.
Does it work actually? It actually works? No, okay. Damn it, I thought that was it.
Workers inside. I can't get past them.
Well, it works. You did walk into the church for like 2 minutes. Half a minute, really.
So,
Seconds more like
just so I showed it. This is my inventory right now. So I got quite a lot of stuff already, like a cheese bagel, some flyers, I got some wine, and an apple. So I got quite some stuff. And also because I just want to show it, I got my my phone, so I can actually call different people, like my friends in the USA, my friends here in Lithuania, Joris, yeah. And what was the GRRCL again?
Genocide resistant. Oh no, I should know this.
center in Lithuania.
And
The last 2 letters are cent. But yeah, it's kind of I think ran by a Jewish community here, and it's the center of the genocide and stuff like that.
And then I have messages. I can.
there's so many facts.
I
in the
can.
game.
It was about the KGB.
It's a KGB one.
Yeah, that's true.
You call them to ask if they know anything about some projects, some about KGB history, because there is quite some history, like actual facts in the game, but we didn't want to put too many of those. But of course, so we still try to be true to history and tell you more about it. So you learn a little bit, but you still enjoy the game because it's not like an educational game too much. It's just hidden in the gameplay.
And one thing I also very much enjoyed so far is that, so I have my phone, I have the messages and the notes. And the notes are like all the info I got so far and what I'm looking for. And then you can sometimes combine notes with another. So if you're looking for something and you got an info that helps you with it, you can combine these to actually conclude that. So that's really interesting, I thought. So for example, I have this point, the 3 keys are hidden in these houses of worship, and for those there was a list of different churches and I had to combine with the right 3 ones, so I got this list. That's a very fun feature, I think. That it isn't.
And you can combine some of the notes, and Milda will comment on them. If they don't actually combine, she can still give you a hint about it, why they don't combine or why they would, but there's not much point to it. So it's a little bit like a driving mechanism, and still also helps you not to forget everything you learn or where are you headed in the game.
Yeah, so for
and
example...
it's actually...
Oh, yeah, you
Go ahead. I just wanted to say that it's a bit similar to combining inventory items as well, because you kind of think that these 2 might fit and make something new out of that. It's just, instead of visual and like material stuff, it's just information. So it's similar, so it's not anything very new to adventure gamers, but it's still kind of a new feature because it's not the inventory, it's something a little different.
And as you said, it actually helped because, for example, I got 2 churches right, and then the third one was one of the Catholic churches, and then Milda told me like, I'm not sure about the Catholic one, I don't know which one it is. And then I knew, okay, I need to find more info to know which Catholic church is the right one. Okay, so I'm a person to give up quickly, and I'll just check out the other location to see if I can get in there more easily.
Cool.
That's completely fair. Yeah. Always explore all your options.
Explore everything and then see what seems easiest.
Actually, some adventure gamers seem to like get stuck on some idea that they have to do this right now. even though you kind of have to wait or like get some more info about that. But people are just trying to, I really need to go there or do that or solve that puzzle right now. And they spend 3 hours on that and get frustrated. Why didn't it work?
I mean,
So sometimes you just have to.
the old woman said, I can't go in there, so I can't go in there. It's okay.
Exactly. I think that's a really fair like attitude.
I just want to say this looks gorgeous. This is,
Yeah.
I love the colors, and this is great.
Yeah, this is one of the more beautiful, like from what we heard, people really like.
So for example, what we heard is we don't have an opinion. We're not biased. People are just talking on the street.
People said that.
Yeah, people say that this is, and actually, a lot of people were surprised how realistic we depict it. So, for example, this church, some people even like sent us photos from the internet, and they were like, "Wow, it looks pretty much like that, just
that's so
cartoony and
cool.
beautiful." And yeah, and really try to be realistic. That's one of the things that you visit real life locations. You visit Vilnius University, you visit the churches, and yeah, so that's really exciting and was really interesting to make. And it's like a little short trip to Vilnius, just virtually.
And just to mention it again, you are located in Vilnius, is it right? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's
it's so
where
cool
we
to have it
became-
play in your hometown as well. So cool.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Like,
Okay.
welcome.
So let's
And we
let's
did go
talk
to
this
the
priest.
locations with the team and like filmed everything and like inspected it quite a few times. It was really fun doing the
That must be so
research.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
We gotta make a game in Kiel so we can do
Yeah.
that where we are.
Actually, it's pretty fun that quite a few adventure developers, especially indie developers all around the world, especially like Europe, which has a lot of very different places. They kind of start showing their hometowns more. Like for example, the Gibbous game has some places in Transylvania, or the Saint Kotar game has some places in Croatia. We have Vilnius, and yes, so there are quite a few games that do that. So I think you can do that as well.
Woo! We gotta make a
I bet
sailing
there's something
game.
interesting.
A sailing
Yeah.
game in Kiel.
Yeah, because our city is like a sailing city. I think that's the marketing slogan, Kiel Sailing City.
Kiel Sailing City, yeah.
That's already a game name, like a sailing city. There you
Yeah.
go.
Ooh, it's a city that is sailing.
A whole city on a ship. Like
Yeah.
that's,
Okay.
that's pretty cool.
Let's talk to this priest. And I already saw that we can just ask him. I'm looking for a key, and let's see, maybe he has a key for us.
I am looking for a key.
A key? Is it your key?
Well, it's not exactly my key,
So the key belongs to the church.
I suppose.
And you have the gall to ask me for the church key. Do you know what the eighth commandment says?
Do I know what the eighth commandment says? Don't steal? I don't know.
Shalt not steal.
It's right, actually.
But it would be funny to steal the sacramental wine right before the divine liturgy. And it seems they are not stopping at that.
I got some wine with me. Who would do such a thing?
Who indeed? Who would dare to take the wine? And who would be bold enough to ask for a key?
And one interesting thing, since we're in a church in the game, is that you can.
No.
What you probably already saw with the puzzle, where you have to find the three churches of different religions or gods. So one of them was the synagogue, one of them was the Orthodox Church, and the third one was Catholic. So we do actually have quite a few different churches here in Vilnius, because there's a lot of different cultures and people mixing over the years. Even though, like, I know probably over 90% religious people here are Catholic, but there's still quite a few Orthodox churches that were built during previous times, and some synagogues. Not all of them are there now. Like, for example, the Great Synagogue that we talk about in the game, it's actually not there anymore. They found the like the base of the church, but it's not there. But it was really big. It had maybe 3 or 4 floors, and they used to call Vilnius the Jerusalem of the North a few hundred years ago. So we do have all of those religions mixing in the city, which was an interesting thing to know. And actually, one of the architects that you also learn about in the game, he worked on a lot of these churches which were burned during the Great Fire here. So he restored different churches from different religions, and yeah, those are, I would say, pretty interesting facts, because not all of cities have that variety of things like that.
And it's very interesting that when you talked about the Great Fire, I already thought, oh, I heard about that actually in your game, because I think I can show it for a moment. There's an old Polish text where you have to enter the right words in there. And then you have the information about that grand architect, the Great Fire that happened, and so on. And after talking to a professor, I think
The keys to the crown were handed
Yeah.
by the architect.
when you press on it now, it gives you that extra info on. I will also put a link to the game in chat if you want to check out the game a bit more, because it's also on sale right now during the Steam
Yep.
Summer Sale, right? Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
And there's also something coming out in like the next hour or two. And I guess we can just like tell for those who are watching and wanna like know that the soundtrack for our game is actually getting released today. So in just an hour or two, you will be able to buy a bundle with the game and the soundtrack. So that's like great timing to get the game.
And actually, since we talked about Broken Sword 2.5, the composer of the music of Crowns and Pawns is the composer of Broken Sword 2.5.
Oh, really?
So that's where we kind of met, and I asked him to participate in this project as well.
That's so cool.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
also really
so-
cool if you admire someone from another game anyway, and then you can win that person for your game. That must be the biggest
Yep.
success. And also for him to hear that you loved the soundtrack of another game, and then to ask them to do it for your game must also feel pretty cool.
Yep. Well, he did work on other like commercial projects like A New Beginning and other Daedalic games, and also not only point-and-click adventures. So, and he did win a German music award for the best music in a game for A New Beginning. So he's pretty cool.
So, one thing I wanted to ask you, Mingale, because I find it very interesting, also for our efforts, for our games and so on, when communicating about the game and doing like marketing stuff and so on. So I think you're very lucky, so to say, that Crowns and Pawns is also very, very pretty, so you can easily show off some pretty graphics. But then there's also the issue with adventure games that always you want to show enough to spark interest, but you can't show everything because you don't want to give away too much of the puzzles, too much of the story, and so on. So do you have like, how was your experience with that? How did you manage that?
Well, I guess the first thing I could note is that we launched our Steam page about in 2019. And well, the plan was, and usually I think the plan is to release in 2 year span after launching that. And after doing we were doing some marketing before, but it was like very small, low and still not that often. But then the pandemic hit, and we did get slightly delayed because of that. And then it became really difficult because, in 2 years, I guess it's possible to not spoil too much, or you can at least try to plan it. But then
I remember you complaining during the first months.
well,
Like, what more can I do? Please give me more.
Oh my god,
You
I
just-
know that so well. I know that so well.
I heard that before as well.
yeah, well, that's also true because we were I had like I guess since we weren't like making chapter by chapter, but we were doing everything like simultaneously kind of. So it wasn't that like the prologue was done so that I could share it. But like I had like some backgrounds at some point and some animations, but I had animations of characters that I didn't want to show, but I had backgrounds from other places, so I couldn't put the character in the background.
Yeah.
So it was a whole thing, and it was very difficult actually when we got a publisher. Only like I don't really remember when, but it was quite late already. And the publisher was actually encouraging us that I was a bit too worried about spoiling, but they said that actually not a lot of players remember very specific posts. So once in a while, it's okay to like I wanted to post some historical facts, but I did know that some of the facts are like answers to puzzles, and I was worried to share that. But they said that it's really I'm not saying that this is an answer, and this likelihood of someone to remember a post from a year ago about a fact that they just saw in the game is pretty small. So if you think it's interesting enough, you can definitely share it. And if one or two people remember it, it's not a big deal. So I guess since then, I was kind of encouraged to be more open about it and not be so scared of posting or spoiling something. But yeah, it was pretty difficult. And I think at some point we had actually like, I think like a percentage of characters and scenes we want to show up to the game. And we actually overstepped it. And actually the whole team besides me pushed me to do that.
Oh really?
Because
That's so cool.
because especially for the last screenshots, for example, the church you just showed, the green one with the and I was saying that it's so pretty and we need to leave it for people to go in during the game. But then like my colleagues said that it's so pretty, meaning we should show it before, and that is a good point.
I totally
I mean,
get both
for the-
sides of that. Yeah.
It's a little tricky if the game is still not released because you can spoil it and then you won't have the material for the big release date and you still want to kind of make a little bang out of it. But for the release, we kind of thought like there will be YouTube videos and screenshots on the internet like a few hours or a couple of days after the release anyway. So we should probably make the best ones ourselves and just put it out. So it's not like spoiling the game itself, but it's just giving the people like easier access to the better content and screenshots.
And
But yeah, I think you just have to be less scared to
Yeah.
spoil, apparently, because it's still really hard, but I guess it's not that bad to spoil because people will. I always think that if you spoil too much, someone might not want to play the game, but it's actually usually the opposite. People, if you spoil, they just want to play it themselves and figure out which background goes after which one, because they don't know if you just post it.
and you're published by Thunderful, right?
Yeah.
And they also, I mean, they have a lot of experience. If it comes from them, I kind of believe them when they say just dare to show a bit more.
Yeah, we signed with Head Up back in when they were separate, and now they are part of Thunderful. And Head Up had a lot of experience with the smaller games, and especially with the point and click. They released Tribberbrook before.
Yeah.
And the Inner World.
The Inner World, yeah. Yeah, so we were really happy and we get to work with these people, and also now we have the Thunderful team as well, so it's even more experienced people. So it's pretty nice to have. I mean, we were prepared to release ourselves, but it's kind of nice to have this backing of a publisher when you're a small team, especially for marketing or reaching other platforms, because they really took that off our shoulders. Our game is live on Steam, GOG, Epic Store, and Mac Store.
Yes.
Yeah, so we couldn't have done that so easily ourselves. So, and we're really excited about that.
It's like a good combination to do some marketing yourself, so you're not like fully drawn back and just saying, publisher, do it for me, but then they also do everything that you can't easily do yourself. That sounds like a good combination.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Do you think, marketing wise, like, spill your secrets, was there something like one thing that got you like a lot of viewers or a lot of wish lists or something? Did you have like that one Reddit post or that one Twitter post or that one streamer playing your game? Was there something specific?
I don't think there was any one thing. When we launched the Steam page, the Steam discoverability was a bit different, so we did get quite a bit of wishlists back then. But then we really just kept it often and not as much often, but as consistent, the communication, social media. So it was consistently. Oh, there was one of the bigger breakthroughs was probably an event on Steam. So when the online events on Steam started happening, it was actually quite good for indie games, especially the very first one, the event like that. So the Steam Summerfest, Next Fest, and there was the big adventure event back in January, a year ago or so. So those really helped us, especially the adventure events, because they are a specific audience. They are looking exactly for these games, and people got used to online games. And that's probably one good thing of the pandemic is that people got used to online events, and it's less likely that we would have gone to like a lot of events, but we could participate in quite a lot online events. And especially directly on Steam, where the wishlist button is like right there, So those events were definitely helpful, especially when they were still just starting out and people were like excited about it and it was new.
Yeah.
We also, during the events, we shared the free demo, which I think gave us a boost. We didn't publish it for like the whole time. We just published it during events, which kind of gets people interested for a short period of time, but then they're more interested to try it out quickly. So I think that was probably a good decision.
Definitely, and the demo thing is very good, and especially it gives you visibility during events. So that's really good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, especially when events started out, because right now it's like event after event after event, and it's really hard to be at everyone. Yeah.
And a lot of games participate now. Back then, some were still quite slightly skeptical because and how much effort to put. We did put more effort in the first events. We did live streams, like Q&As and everything, and then eventually we just participated, but we couldn't give so much time anymore because we wanted to finish the game and really release it. But it was I think it's definitely worth it, and even more on genre specific events.
Yeah.
Those happen more often for a lot of genres, because the adventure one was one of the very first to make like a very specific event. But now there are many different ones, and not all of them are hosted by Steam itself. So that's also important, is to check who is hosting the event, because if it's hosted by Steam, then you get more visibility kind of because it's promoted everywhere. But if it's hosted by Steam, then automatically more games participate, so that's less discoverability. So there's a lot of factors, but they're still worth the time, I believe.
And it's things like, the big adventure event, Adventure X, Ludo Narracon. I think it's always great for narrative games. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. I think with that, we'll wrap it up. Thanks a lot for being here with us. I'm sorry I couldn't show as much of your game as we wanted to, but
no worries. Yeah.
I'm very glad to go on playing after the stream and to find out more about the churches in Vilnius and to find the keys.
And we definitely suggest other people to try it, and especially now it's on sale. And like I said, it's on every store almost. So if you like that, you can definitely check the other stores if you have preference. And we also do plan to have a console version for those interested. It's probably going to happen next year. Yeah. Because we think these kind of games are really good for consoles because you sit and play it and with your family or yourself. So we definitely want to be on consoles, and that's probably going to happen sometime next year. So you can watch out for that as well.
Definitely wish you good luck with that, with the console ports and everything works out.
If
Thanks
people
for having us.
Yeah, if people want to follow you, what's the best place for that? Are you on Twitter, Instagram, Reddit? Do you have a newsletter? Like, where should people go to get all your
Yes.
news?
Yes, to everything. Yeah,
Okay.
I guess best would be Twitter is probably one of our active platforms, but we also try to post on Instagram and Facebook and occasionally on Reddit, and we also have a Discord channel, and it's been really active since the release of the game.
So all of the social networks are under the name Crons and Pawns, so you can just probably Google it.
And then definitely join Discord because we ourselves are very active there, and we can give you support if you have or you need some help with hints, or you just want to talk about the game. All the team is there, so you can get answers from anyone you're interested in.
And the link is on Steam, so you can find it there.
Yeah. I think that's always very cool to have access to like the whole team. So if you're especially interested in talking to the artists or the programmers or whoever, Discord is always a great place for that, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, and for ourselves and what's going up next at us. We're gonna have a stream again next week. That's gonna be our Playful Library. So I mentioned in the beginning we have a few new streaming formats, and one of them is the Playful Library, which is our book club on game development books. So that's gonna be up next week. And then in 4 weeks we're gonna reading books. And then in 4 weeks we are, I guess, if nothing comes between it. But in 4 weeks, we're going to have the next Campfire Conversations, and we'll announce the guests beforehand. So watch out for our Twitter and also Discord and stuff. And I'll also link our website, because if you want, you can sign up to our newsletter there to find out when our next streams are, and also to find great new games, because in our last newsletter we had a narrative games section, and actually Crowns and Pawns was under that. So we're giving some great narrative game tips and hints there. Yeah. Okay. And with that, thanks a lot again for being here. See you again another time. Maybe at some event sometime in the future, since pandemic is going down a bit. And see you, our viewers, next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.